setup here.
No, that's not a problem at all. So just when you're ready, hit the button.
Want to add a title?
Yeah, you can add whatever we're doing here.
Contraception press conference?
Yeah. Add that.
Can y'all squeeze
Yeah,
together?
yeah.
Yes, I wasn't sure.
Picture real quick. We'll do this again when Charlene gets here, but just in
Okay.
case. Okay, great.
Control
If you need a condom, Karen, we've got them.
Well, you know,
If you want to hand them out on the floor.
you know, my friend, best friend, my house, her house, my house was the house
Yeah.
where
Oh, great.
all the boys knew that they, and the girls knew that it's a basket on the on the refrigerator, just in case. Folks be stopping by, hey,
Nobody's
I'm
counting. Nobody's counting the
doing
basket
fine.
before you leave.
That basket's still up on the refrigerator. Yeah, go on in and get one.
Feel free to take a couple. We don't count the basket when you leave.
I wish I could stay. I just walked in. I gotta go check in.
Yeah, it's wild up there.
How long? I guess you finna start it now.
In a few, yeah, we're kind of waiting on Charlene, but.
Okay, let me run my stuff up.
Condoms for the road? You want some condoms for the road? Pass out? Some people shouldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah, Kelsey, go ahead and take some. We'll put them in the basket with the candy on the desk.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
We put these on the refrigerator for real. The guys
Yeah.
know where
Okay, y'all squeeze in a little bit.
All right.
Okay, and you got them in your hand. Okay, that's good.
Perfect.
That's great.
Get me looking in here picking them.
There's so many flavors to choose from.
Oh, flavor on that.
Artistic flavors. This wasn't hard.
That was funny. Oh, give me a heart then. Okay.
Take it easy.
Oh, this is good.
Look at this.
Oh yeah, that's when she said flavors. Thanks.
My favorite, the corn.
I'll take
Oh.
some before we leave.
Okay, great.
Corn.
It's just a little corn.
That makes me think of that kid in the
Yeah, I was about to
corn
say.
video. Every time I hear corn, that's what I think of. It's corn.
Okay. I haven't heard from
You guys have to leave in
Charlene.
5 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We better get
You want me to start?
We better get going. Okay, hold on just a minute, Lauren. Let me get.
Okay.
We're staying until the end.
Is something happening up in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they already vote?
No, it just started. There's a
Oh,
big
listen.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can hear it.
Good. Good. Make some noise. Keep it up.
I'm gonna go up there.
Okay.
So sorry. We only have one crew.
Okay. Gloria, I'm ready when you are.
Alrighty. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Representative Gloria Johnson, and I represent Tennessee House District 90 in Knoxville. I stand before you today as a proud sponsor of the Tennessee Contraceptive Freedom Act because I believe in the fundamental freedom of every Tennessean to make their own personal, private decisions about reproductive health without interference from the government. This bill is about freedom. Our freedom to make the most personal decisions about when, how, and whom to have a family, with whom to have a family. Whether it's preventing unintended pregnancies or empowering individuals to plan their families, birth control is essential to maintaining our health, our dignity, and our economic security. The overwhelming majority of Tennesseans support the freedom to birth control. They know that when we give people the freedom to make their own decisions about their bodies, we're building a stronger, healthier, and more prosperous state. That's why I'm asking my colleagues to stand with the people of Tennessee and support this bill. This isn't just about access to contraception. It's about trusting people with their own lives and futures. It's about saying that in Tennessee, we believe in freedom, personal choice, and the right to make decisions without government intervention. I urge my fellow lawmakers to stand on the side of freedom, stand on the side of health care, and stand with the people of Tennessee in support of the Tennessee Contraceptive Freedom Act. This is so critical to everyone in our state when it comes to planning their own families. And we know there are people in this state that would like to take some of these rights away. And that is why we're here today. And I'd like to introduce to you Avery Bogart, who's studying medicine at Vanderbilt University.
Hello. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Avery Bogart, and I'm in my 6th year of the MD-PhD program at Vanderbilt University. When I complete my studies in 2026, I plan to pursue residency training in obstetrics and gynecology. When I came to Tennessee, I had no idea that studying and practicing here could set me up to potentially commit a felony. According to the Human Life Protection Act, which the Tennessee General Assembly passed in 2019 and which became law with the overturning of Roe v. Wade in August of 2022, physicians in the state can be prosecuted, save for a few narrow exceptions, for performing an abortion, even when it is the best decision for the patient's health. Since 2022, we have seen legislation continue to chip away at reproductive rights. Just last year, legislation that would have simply made clear that Tennessee's abortion ban does not endanger access to contraceptive care or fertility treatments was voted down. Aspiring OBGYNs like myself are already choosing to do their training in other states without draconian laws that could end our careers before we've even started. We have watched some practicing OBGYNs choose to leave Tennessee to practice elsewhere, or to give up the management of pregnant patients, or just retire early. It's not hard to imagine a Tennessee in the near future with expanding obstetric deserts more than an hour away from access to care. An hour that could mean the difference between life and death for some pregnant patients. Every Tennessean deserves the freedom to decide whether and when to have a child and to raise their children in a safe, supportive, healthy, and loving community free from government interference in their personal decisions. This vote today is an opportunity for our legislators to send a message to physicians, aspiring physicians, and patients across the state that this state supports providing a full range of reproductive health care. I am grateful to Senator Oliver and Representative Johnson for sponsoring this critical legislation, and to all the supportive legislators standing here today. Thank you for advocating for Tennessee families, for healthy communities, and for freedom. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Laura Andresen.
Thank you, Avery. I am Dr. Laura Andresen. I'm a board-certified OBGYN who has been practicing for 23 years. During that time, I have counseled and prescribed contraceptives to thousands of women. It is vital that we protect access to contraception for the women and families of Tennessee. There are many barriers to contraception access and usage. There are societal pressures, financial pressures, and healthcare deserts across our rural communities in Tennessee. Contraception is safe and it prevents pregnancy. There is a lot of misinformation that birth control causes abortions. Hormonal contraceptives and emergency contraception work by stopping ovulation. My medical society clearly states that available contraceptive options in the United States prevent pregnancy. They do not end it. Affordability is a huge obstacle for patients accessing contraception. The Affordable Care Act allowed huge strides in this issue, but we must continue to work to have options for those who cannot afford contraception. Our General Assembly has refused to expand Medicaid, and the state lost Title X funding with the fall of Roe because our legislators would not allow the word abortion to be uttered in our clinics. We must remain vigilant in maintaining reputable programs and clinics to keep contraception available to all. Access has become more challenging than ever for the ever-expanding population of rural Tennessee that live in healthcare deserts. Patients must travel a great distance to see a healthcare provider. It is important that these individuals not face further restrictions by finding a pharmacist that will not fill the prescription or provider that refuses to write it. If they themselves cannot provide these services, there should be an alternative option or referral system in place to allow the patient access to contraceptives. This bill would bring some relief and reassurance to the families of Tennessee over their access for contraception being protected. I've been told over and over by our elected officials that there's no need to protect contraception because it's not being threatened. It reminds me of how many times I was told that Roe would never fall. The people of Tennessee deserve the freedom to fully control their bodies, lives, and futures. The ability to choose when and if to start a family affects financial stability, job security, workforce participation, and educational endeavors. Our politicians should not be taking away our freedom to make healthcare decisions based on our faith and our values. I'm often asked about the future availability of contraceptives by my patients. They are concerned, fearful, and they have every right to be. We need to keep paying attention to legislation and demand more from our General Assembly. At the end of the day, it comes down to bodily autonomy and respecting individual choices for reproductive health care. Making laws to protect the reproductive choices of our fellow Tennesseans is and should remain a priority for our state. And now it is my honor to introduce Senator Charlene Oliver.
Good morning, everyone. Apologies for my tardiness. And thank you, Dr. Anderson, and all of the speakers here today and advocates who champion reproductive health in our state. And I also want to thank Representative Gloria Johnson for sponsoring this legislation with me. It's an important piece of legislation that many of our colleagues need to hear and vote for. I'm State Senator Charlene Oliver. I represent the 19th District right here in Nashville, Davidson County. And I'm also one of the few women of reproductive age that serves in our state legislature. When I got elected 2 years ago, I was the only woman legislator with a child in daycare. And so this is a very near and dear issue to my heart and very personal. I've got three children. And after I had my first two children, I had to make a decision. I thought I wanted more children, but I didn't know when. I had a boy and a girl, and with most people, most families, they're pretty good with having a boy and a girl. They're pretty set. So I had that tough decision of maybe I want a third one. But that decision was made between me and my OBGYN. I thankfully was able to get on birth control thanks to the health insurance that I had. I got an IUD. And so I was able to set an appointment with my doctor to request that IUD be taken out when I was ready. And I now have my third child, Micah. He's 5 and he's in kindergarten. So what we know is that reproductive decisions don't happen in a vacuum. There's an intersection between child care, reproductive health, health care, having a child, abortion, as well as public education. And we must support all of those things. The reality is the vast majority of Tennesseans support access to birth control. Birth control in all its forms, whether it's condoms or emergency contraception, is health care. It's not a partisan issue. It's not a divisive issue. It's a matter of personal choice, privacy, and the well-being of families across our state. From the young woman in Bulls Gap to the mother in Memphis, from college students to working families, we know that access to affordable, reliable contraceptive gives people the ability to make informed decisions, but when, how, and with whom to start a family. In Tennessee, it's time we stop letting politics dictate the healthcare choices that families can make. It's time for us to ensure that contraception remains accessible to everyone, regardless of your zip code, regardless of your income level. This legislation will strengthen access to birth control in all forms, including condoms, the pill, IUDs, and emergency contraception in Tennessee. And it also enshrines the right for people to use or refuse the method of their choice, regardless of sex, race, age, income, ability to pay, marital status, citizenship status, or motive. I urge my colleagues to support and vote for the Tennessee Contraceptive Freedom Act. I look forward to introducing this legislation in Commerce Committee this week. It is Women's History Month, and we're on the heels of International Women's Day. We must stand with women all over this country and all over this state to pass the Tennessee Contraceptive Freedom Act. Thank you. And with that, I think we will turn it over for questions. Does anyone else want to? Okay. Any questions from any reporters in the audience?
Okay.
All
We answered all the
Thanks, y'all.
questions.
Awesome. Well, that was a
Well, when
perfect
you're
press
good-
conference.
When you're good, you're good.
When you're good, you're good. When you got a perfect bill.
Yeah, there you go.
Can I get y'all's picture, please?
Awesome. Okay.
All
You
right.
want us behind the plug?
The next
Brenda.
flyer.